I was gifted some venison recently, and since it's soup and stew season, I thought, what better way than to turn it into a venison stew? Now, I wasn't too sure how it was gonna turn out. I haven't cooked with gamey meats very much, not at all, not sure. So I'm gonna treat it exactly the way as beef stew and kind of cross my fingers and hope it turns out, because I really want to break down this meat and make sure that it's perfectly tender, fall apart in your mouth. So I'm going to take you step by step on exactly what I did, very, very similar to how I would make beef stew, and it turned out so tender that I cannot wait to make it again. I will tell you, when I first opened the package of venison, I was kind of weirded out by the color and the smell of it, because it doesn't smell like any other protein that I've ever opened up. But as I cooked it, as I let it stew, the aroma got better and better, and by the time it was ready and I was salivating and hungry, it was perfect. I'm not gonna make you wait any longer. Let me take you through these easy few steps so that you can try this at home. I've cut up the venison into bite-sized pieces and seasoned it liberally with salt and pepper. I waited for my pot to get nice and hot and the oil to get nice and bubbly, because that is how I will get a sear on all of the sides of my pieces of protein. I'm doing it in batches because of how much I have. I don't want to overcrowd that pan. I want to make sure that each of those pieces hits the bottom. Once I've done that, all of it goes back in and I cover it with about 4 cups of water. Easily, if you're doing this at home, you can use beef stock, but I find water works just fine and we get lots of flavor because it's a long cook. Potatoes, onions, and carrots go in, lots more salt and pepper, and I'm throwing in a couple of bay leaves in there as well. Covered and in the oven for 2 hours at 350 degrees. That's when I took it out to check to see if things were tender and cooked. And I was giddy with excitement when my fork just pulled the meat apart and it was perfectly tender. Now, all of that water has now turned into venison juice. Maybe that's what I'll call it. But I want to give it a little bit of a thickening. So I took a little ladle of it out, added a bit of Worcestershire sauce and a little bit of flour, and I'm keeping it on the stovetop on a low simmer to let that liquid just thicken up a little bit before it is ready to eat. Ooh, yum and satisfying. What a great flavor this turned out to be. If you get your hands on some venison or you want to try exploring with that type of meat, this is definitely a great starter recipe, something that is really, really easy and you probably won't screw it up. You can test yourself with beef stew first. Very, very, very similar method. Thank you so much for tuning into the Silly Kitchen. Till next time.